Hello? Are y'all there? Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Wow. Hello? All right. Maybe I need to do this again. All right. Hello? All right. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. What happened? Everything just froze. Did y'all hear everything that I said? Yes. Shalom. Did y'all hear everything that I said? No. Okay. They must be messing with us today. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, look, let's take it from the top. Okay. I don't know what happened. Somebody is definitely messing with us this morning. Okay. So, all right. You can hear me now. Did you hear me before now? Okay. I don't know. Let me just start from the top, okay? Because I don't know, because everything just froze for me and I did not see or hear you. I didn't see y'all. Let me just put it that way. All right, let me just start from the top. I guess they're trying to have fun today at my expense. Okay, there's an update to this story, and the court date is not today, and there's additional charges. The DA said that Ed Mathews would get additional charges after they reviewed the video. In fact, they reviewed several videos. And from what I understand, some of the other videos were far worse than the one that went viral online. So he is still in jail. His court date that was scheduled for today has been changed because of the additional charges. He just got hit with those charges on Thursday. So we're going to go over all of this. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Wow, I can't believe I went through all of that and you didn't hear it all. Okay, we'll do it now. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Please give me a 1. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So here's an update. And this update came Thursday evening. Local paper, Burlington Daily Voice. And this is July 8th, 2021. So there have been more charges and a change in the court date. And boy, this guy is a real piece of garbage, for real. New Jersey man accused of harassing Blacks, newly charged with stalking, damaging neighbor's vehicle. So I want y'all to hear what they came out with after reviewing several videotapes of this dude just acting a fool. Edward C. Mathews of Mount Laurel was charged Thursday with multiple counts of criminal mischief, multiple drug-related offenses, including dealing drugs, stalking, and several weapon offenses, the Burlington County prosecutor said. Boy, they said they were going to review those tapes and come up with more charges. They didn't lie in this case, which is shocking. But I can tell y'all, locally, not only are the police catching hell over not doing enough to this guy, the judges, there were a couple of judges up at the Superior Court that just let him go and did not, they didn't get him on nothing. They just let him go. And those two judges now, they're also being dragged. A lot of people are upset over this case. Mathews, who was being held in the Burlington County Jail in Mount Holly, was initially charged on July 2nd and again on Monday with several counts of harassment. And he was also hit with hate crimes, 3 counts, bias crimes, and trespassing, according to the Burlington County prosecutor, Scott Cofino. And those charges came in connection with 2 confrontations with neighbors involving racial slurs using threatening language and gestures, Cofino said. Mathews ultimately was arrested after Cofino's office reviewed additional video recordings of Mathews bumping one victim with his chest and allegedly spitting in his face. I told y'all on that video that went viral, if you look real close when he was bumping up against that black man, he spat in his face. I saw it. You just got to really look close. But that's what he did. So I'm glad they included that. Thursday's new charges were filed after a warranted search of Mathews' home by police. One of the victims of the harassment charges reportedly told police that Mathews may have used a BB gun to damage vehicles belonging to her and her daughter, Cofino said. Police reportedly seized a slingshot and multiple ball bearings, which match the projectiles used to damage the vehicles, according to Cofino. Okay, an investigation found the ball bearings had been shot at vehicles owned by 2 female neighbors, causing $2,350 in damage, the prosecutor said. Mathews is accused of stalking one of the vehicle owners, Cofino said. Also seized during the warranted search were numerous psilocybin mushrooms. Those are what they call magic mushrooms, that when you take that stuff, it gives you hallucinations. So they said they found a lot of it in his condo, and they found bags, like he was bagging it up and selling it. So that was all found in the apartment. So he had packing materials along with the mushrooms that were in there. All right. So Mathews, who was being held in the Burlington County jail, so I don't think he's getting out, y'all. And one thing I can honestly say to y'all, one thing I noticed now in the video that went viral, he said he had a job. I find it funny that this is the end of the week and no employer has come forward to denounce this guy. You know, I just find that odd, because usually, you know, people ain't going to jack up their business or their money over somebody that wants to be a racist. So either he lied about it, which I think he might have done, and did not have employers at all. But, you know, usually they would say something by now. They wouldn't stay silent over a case like this. And I haven't heard any talk of an attorney. I have not heard one thing about he got legal representation. And that's another thing that I find a little strange. Okay. One of the victims of the harassment, let me go down. You know, one of the victims that moved out because of Mathews also spoke to the police and the DA's office. And he had harassed her so badly, this woman moved out. And they said he caused several Black people to leave that complex because he was harassing them so badly. All right. All right, so he has a court date of July 13th. These new charges underscore the importance of our community members coming forward with any information they have about criminal activity, whether about this case or any other incident. Mount Laurel Township Police Chief Stephen Rettiner said. So, because someone recorded Mathews' conduct Friday night, we had the evidence to bring the previous charges and the opportunity to gather evidence that led to these additional charges, including for damage we allege he recently caused to his neighbors' vehicles. As reported previously by a Daily Voice, crowds gather outside of Mathews' Essex Place condominium for hours. 3 days after he was charged with harassment, dozens of rioters jeered and threw objects at Mathews. We saw how he was escorted to the police car. So what? He did far worse to everybody in that complex. So what? He got some plastic bottles and water thrown on him. That's easy compared to what he did to people. About the same time, a video showing Mathews spewing racial slurs at his Black neighbors on Gramercy Way began going viral. Police chief called the video offensive and denounced racism, hate, and bias intimidation. Well, it took you 4 years to denounce that. This is so disingenuous. All right, so they have a hotline set up for anybody that have additional information on him. I hope some of those people that moved out because of him come forward with their stories too, because that can also be additional charges on his ass. Thank you, Dee, for the super chat. Thank you. It's 4:53 a.m. Wow. You must be out west where I am, and I'm here listening at the gym. Go ahead. Wow, your gym opens that early? Shalom, Black Mama. Yeah, so that just go to show you, these cops and judges and everybody, they were willing to look the other way all this time. But I did read yesterday in another article, the prosecutor did want Edward Mathews jailed, but the judge threw the case out. The last time he went to court, the judge threw it out. But they said they wanted him detained, but they kept saying it wasn't enough evidence. Okay, then how come it wasn't enough evidence then, but you got plenty of evidence now? What the hell is up with that? That just right there goes back to me saying people didn't do their jobs. They didn't. He is. When you go out here messing with people that live all around you, to me, you're a danger to the public. You have proven yourself to be too dangerous to be around everybody in public. I mean, who's going to really trust this guy around? If he goes, shopping or anything, people are going to be staring at him. Nobody's going to trust this dude. Who's going to trust him? But we'll see with these additional charges how long he will end up in there. I don't think he should be released on any kind of bond with all of the charges that are on him. He shouldn't be, no, it should be no bond at all. So, the hearing, since it's on the 13th, again, I will try to see if I can get details on that, or if, one of the news channels will go up there so you can see some of the proceedings. That might be possible, being that this is such a big deal in the area right now. Everybody's buzzing about this thing. So it might be some pretty good coverage on his hearing. Yeah, he definitely should never be out. I don't care. Anytime you don't mind your business and go about your life, and you are harassing and damaging property and making threats on neighbors and One woman that lives there said he tried to kick in her door, you know? Oh man. I mean, it's just sick. I didn't really give much of a notification, Brother Sly, unfortunately. I had to do it now because a little later I'm going to be doing some personal things that's going to take some time. So this was really the right time for me to do this. Mhm. No, the cops were saying, "Oh, they finally got the evidence to do something." And I said, "Mm-mm. That black crowd showed up. You couldn't ignore it anymore." They of course, they don't want to give any credit to us. You know how they are. They'll jump off a building before they give one of us credit. So, no, it was that black crowd that showed up when he dared them to pull up on him, and they did it. Okay, he was the one that put his address out there for the world to hear. So folks took him up on it. And because the story blew up so much locally, they knew they had to do something. If they didn't do anything at that moment in time, they knew how it would look bad. So that's the only reason why now they're finding the drugs in his home. They're charging him. They weren't doing all of this before. They weren't doing all of this. So if you ask me, he should be charged with far more. I wish those people that moved out of there will contact the police with whatever happened to them. The ones that he drove out of that complex. Because that could bring more charges. That's all he needs right now is more charges so he can sit his fat, bald-headed ass right up in that jail where he belongs. Yeah, well, his house is badly vandalized now. It is badly vandalized. And, from what I was reading, the police have been in and out of there searching through that house a couple of times. So, boy, talk about incriminating yourself. He really did all of this to himself on the video, talking about his drug dealing, talking about the police don't do nothing to him. I mean, he really incriminated himself. Nobody could have done it better than him. Right, Tareen. They busted out a few windows and left some soda cans and stuff they were drinking outside of his house. Like I said, that was mild compared to what he did to other people around there. That is the truth. He got it easy. And you know how easy it is to replace windows? It's easy to replace windows. Come on now. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, thank you, Anthony, for the super sticker. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And there was another article, maybe I'll do that one, where they gave the name of the judges that let him go. I mean, these people around here are not playing locally. They are seriously mad. It was two different judges that just let him go all the time and never did anything to him. They would just dismiss everything. And those judges are now being called out. A lot of people want answers from them. Oh, that's no problem, CH464. I didn't really plan this out, so it's okay. Thank you, M4002019, for the super sticker. Mhm. Well, I know one of the things the DA said, well, what the hell kind of relationship did he have with these cops? Now, I know none of that has come out because I know that was part of the investigation. But I notice they have not said a word about that. But I know that was one of the things the DA was looking into because they were upset about all that stuff he said about how the cops don't do nothing to him and he know the cops and if he's white, so the cops ain't gonna do nothing to him, and if black people call, they're not gonna do anything because they're black and all that crap he was talking on there. But as soon as that mob showed up, he was real apologetic, wasn't he? So typical. Not at the end of the day, a big coward. Mm-hmm. You know what it is, Layla Q? It's the younger generation in New Jersey that's not going to tolerate that. It really is. Now, y'all, let me tell you, in New Jersey, we got some crazy ass MFers up in here. That's why them cops had to go and protect him. Because if those cops weren't there, they would have they would have tore down the door, broke the windows. These people aren't playing. So yeah, them cops had to stand there and guard his house while he was in there. That was the only way he would have been safe up in there. But this younger crowd, they ain't about that. They are not about that. I'm white and I'm going to get away with it. Not to them. They going to stand up to you, especially out here. No, Robin, actually, there were several videos. And they said the videos that the prosecutor saw was far worse than the one that went viral online. They said there were several and they were pretty bad. They were pretty bad videos. Thank you, John, for the super chat. Lisa, that short little rat, yeah, yeah, he didn't look very tall, is very friendly with those cops. They need to go after them too. Well, the prosecutor said they were questioning what kind of relationship the cops had with him. And, the cops did not like that kind of attention. See, that's why I think they had no problem going in that condo, finding the drugs and all kinds of evidence and turning it over to the prosecutor because he had called them out on the video as a means of protecting him all this time as he was doing illegal activity. And I think they didn't like that. That's why they went in there and found all that mess on his butt. Thank you, Mark Brown, for the super chat. Bless the young generation for showing up. To the big coward who ran his mouth, that couldn't have been me. He ran up on. You got that right. You got that right. Yeah, I mean, because when you look at the younger generation, one thing I notice, even the ones around here, when they talk all that, I'm white, them young people are looking at them like they lost their mind. They know damn well there's nothing special about these people because they're white. These young people ain't stupid. They're not dumb. They're looking at them like they lost their mind. you know, and that's something I even noticed a few years back. Even my son does that. What do you mean? Fuck that. You're white. What the frick? I mean, that's how these young people react like that. They know they look at them and they know there is nothing extraordinary about these people because they're white. That's why they keep looking at them like they lost their mind. That stuff worked like back in the day. Now people know that you're just full of crap. Well, see, you know what, Dell, he knew who to run up on. He did. And see, when that black guy was in bumping up against him at that condo. It was elderly people living in there. It was an elderly couple. That door he was knocking on, and the black guy didn't actually live there. He was protecting the elderly couple from him, from Edward Mathews. Talking about he want the husband to come outside. Well, who are you? You ain't the cops. You ain't no authority around there. You don't get to knock on somebody's door and demand they come outside. But that's what he was doing. He saw what he was doing, and he went over to that condo because it was an elderly couple living in there. And he went to start a fight with the husband. I wish somebody would knock on my talking about some come outside. Please. Don't nobody have no right to knock on your door and tell you what to do at your own damn house. But, some of these people done got so used to things being like that. No, a lot of times these people, no, they're not going to put up with that at all. But that's what he was doing. He actually lived in the complex, but he lived, I think, close by to where the elderly people was. And he saw them, and he knew something was up. So that's one thing I can say. And that's all that you saw there was mostly predominantly a bunch of young people. And they, like I said, they're not trying to hear all that. I'm special because of this pale skin. They ain't trying to hear that. Yeah, no, and that's another thing. Back in the day, people listened to pastors, but if you notice, people of all generations within the Black community are more than done with pastors. Okay, beyond done with pastors at this point in time. We ain't listening to no damn pastors because we know what they're all about. Nobody's listening to them. Well, yeah, I mean, look at who he targeted. Women, a lot of these women that were living on their own in the complex, or women with children, an elderly couple, So he knew exactly who to pick on, blowing out, shooting at their cars and damaging their cars. He knew what to do. And this one older Black woman that lived alone, she did talk to the media, but she didn't want her face shown. She said, and she showed the damage on her door. He tried to kick in her door, and she said he was moving, gyrating his hips outside of her window and kicking in her door, like he was going to come in there and do something to her. So, I mean, he just was all up in that apartment complex doing the most, for real. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dee, for the super chat. To hell with pastors. You got that right. I sure don't listen to any of them. But, they still run to them. Like they got a real corner on the Black community, and they don't realize it don't have the same effect that it had back in the 60s and 50s. It is totally different now. But they still run to the pastor. They still do it. Even to this day, when something goes down, they grab them and put them on TV to talk their usual nonsense. Yes. Well, they reported it, and then after a while, a lot of people got discouraged. Judah, Israel, a lot of people did report him. And that was also part of the DA's investigation. They wanted every single phone call that came to the police station from people that lived in that subdivision. So that was also part of the investigation. And they did call the police. But after a while, they were like, well, nobody is doing nothing. They reported it to the home association. They did everything. They did everything they should have done. And they would not do anything. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the video, that man would still be sitting in that house terrorizing everybody to this very day. Simply Sandra, most people call him TD Fakes. TD Fakes. Yeah. There should be a lot of lawsuits. It really should, behind the whole thing. Layla, I agree with you on that. It should be a lot of lawsuits from people in that complex. And if he gets out, I don't really believe he would stay there for long. I think he would get his ass the hell up on out of there now because of the circumstances. But hopefully with his hearing, they won't let him out. I hope they don't let him out. 4 years of terrorizing people. He should not get an easy way out of prison. They should make him continue to sit in there. No, Del, he ain't sick. Let me tell you something. They always go to mental illness when all else fails. When they know they really can't babble their way out of something, then here comes the mental illness card. And I tell you what, they play that mental illness card way more than anything else. Yeah, I mean, look, he had drugs found in his condo. Those drug charges should bear a heavy weight, but it bears a heavy weight if you're a black man. It certainly does. No, you know, well, did he claim he was mentally ill when he appeared in court all of the other times? Then he should not be whining about being mentally ill this time around either. When them judges let him go, was he in there talking about mental illness? Okay, nobody want to hear all of that. I think his world is rocked because he never was made to sit in prison. And this time around, he's made to be in there, whether he likes it or not. Hold on. CH464. I agree, Lisa. They played at mental illness card way too much, and society's going to catch on to that really fast. If they keep doing that, it will be their downfall quickly. Yeah, a lot of people are onto it. We know everybody is mentally ill. When their kids do something wrong, they're mentally ill. When the women and the men do something, everybody's mentally ill. Really? Mm-hmm. And the funny part is nobody's mentally ill until they get in trouble with the law. I just find that real convenient. Nobody's mentally ill until the handcuffs get put on. Then all of a sudden everybody's mentally ill. Prior to that, you don't hear them talking about no mental illness, no mental anything. Oh yeah, we all know. And some people I've even seen on the news laughing about it, like if a crime is committed, oh, so and so, and mental, got mental illness, and they'll be smirking while they say it because they know they're full of crap. I've seen that too. Yeah, you know, we know the tricks. It's the mental illness card, crying on the stand, anything to jerk on sympathies. But you know what, y'all? There's a reason why they kept the juries in this country all white. And that is the reason why. Any old lame excuse, oh, I'm mentally ill, they would look at that and go, oh, well, we should let them go. They were mentally ill. No, you shouldn't. Hmm. Well, we'll see what happens, y'all. When Tuesday come, the hearing, since it's been rescheduled, I will let you know and keep you updated. Like I said, since it's in my neck of the woods, I'll be able to get information pretty quickly. So, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I do appreciate it. And please enjoy the rest of your day. And I will come back for any update that I find on this particular story. And we'll just do another live. Shalom, family.